We have a number of podcasts about food, restaurants and meals. But for this week's podcast on English.com, we're talking about cooking.
I would say now, Richard, we do about half the cooking each in our house.
Yeah, approximately, I'd say.
Okay, but that wasn't always the case, was it?
No, it certainly wasn't. I do a lot more of the cooking than I used to do.
Yeah. Richard, what do you think are your favourite ways of cooking?
Obviously, being a man, the priority is the barbecue.
You like your barbecues in the summer?
Yes, I think traditionally that's the man's domain, isn't it, the barbecue? We barbecue a lot of chicken and fish.
So why do you like that?
I don't really know, to be honest. Having a barbie, putting a bit of meat on the grill and smelling the aroma, you're outside.
With a beer?
With a beer, putting on a few herbs, the smell of rosemary. Oh, it's very nice. It's the smell of summer.
And, okay, you said summer, so what do you think you like to do most in the winter then?
Well, the winter, you need the winter warming food, don't you? So I do like a roast lunch, don't I?
Yes, you certainly do. Roast chicken, usually.
Roast chicken's the best. I think it's quite easy as well for me because you just bung it in a big tray, put it in the oven and just let it go for an hour or two. And it's not actually that complicated, really.
And you usually put roast vegetables in as well, don't you?
Roast vegetables, and of course the secret, I think, is the gravy. That takes a bit more doing.
Right. And then what else do you think you're quite keen on?
I think the other thing is stews. I love a good hearty stew. Again, I'm not really very technical. I find it quite easy. You can chop up all the meat and the veggies and stuff, put them all together in a pot and then just leave it on the stove or sometimes in the oven for 2 or 3 hours. Always turns out perfect.
Okay, you said you're not very technical in your cooking, but I think you have learned a lot on your on your culinary journey. Would you say you've picked up any top tips for people?
Richard's top cooking tips would be a very short list, I think. Not sure about that. But I think when I do the stews, for instance, it's very important to brown the meat first.
Right, why is
so you
that?
It caramelizes the edges and it just makes it a little bit more tasty, I think. That's one thing.
Right.
I use a lot of onions. You slow, not simmers it, you glaze the onions or whatever, cook them very slowly. That's always good. And also I use a lot of marinading for the barbecues.
So just explain what that means.
Well, for instance, if you're marinating chicken legs, you put them in a little sauce beforehand, lemon juice, oil, garlic.
And lots of herbs as well.
Lots of herbs and spices. That gets into the meat and makes it juicy, because the problem with barbecuing, of course, is the meat can dry out. So you need to make sure that doesn't happen.
Well, I have to say, Richard, that I am delighted that you do so much cooking in the house. Well done, you.
Thank you very much.